Hello and welcome to another occasional ASMR weather forecast. Lovely. Now, unfortunately, our technology has once again gone a little bit haywire. So, for this special holiday weather forecast for the Western United States of America, I am going to have to stand up for the first part to show you an old-fashioned paper map. And here is the paper map. As you can see, it is of the western portion of the United States of America. So we start out here, close to the Canadian border, around the Seattle area. And we shall take in, moving further south, Oregon, Idaho, down in through Nevada, California here, moving all the way down towards the Mexican border, and then touching on the bordering states of Arizona, Utah, and pushing into Colorado and the Rocky Mountain area. So once again, this will be a weather forecast for holidaymakers and even residents of the western portion of the United States of America. If you're waiting for the forecast for the eastern portion, please turn over to channel 1257 now, where there is a live weather forecast. For other areas of the world, please stay tuned and the details will appear at the bottom of the screen shortly. Okay, on with the forecast. Now let us take a closer view of the area affected for the upcoming weather for the week ahead. And here we have the close-up version of the map. So we will start the forecast in the state of Washington and Oregon. It is expected that a scissor front will pass through, passing from south to north and the Canadian border. Here is a demonstration. The scissor front will come in over the California border into Oregon. It is expected to hug the coastline and gradually move inland. It is expected by Tuesday or Wednesday to have reached the Washington border, and once again it will drift inland slightly before returning towards the coast, Seattle and Vancouver area. As you can see, by Thursday or early Friday morning, it will disappear over towards Alaska. So once again, a brief recap. A scissor front will be passing in across California, up the coast, inland at Oregon, and then swing back towards Seattle and Vancouver areas. So it is advisory to take precautions, as when the scissor front moves in, there may be some snippy noises and therefore you may experience some ASMR, so please be prepared. Now we shall move the map up further south to the state of California. Now California weather will be altogether different this week. On Monday, some playing cards will be coming in from the west. and it is expected to come into the San Francisco Bay or Sacramento area. At this stage we are fairly unsure, but by Tuesday night we should know more. Now the playing cards will come in from the west across the northern part of California in towards Nevada. It is expecting there may be some shuffling, so at this stage again they may shuffle south towards the Mexican border. So again, it's a possibility that it will come in as a normal pack of card front, but then may start shuffling south. Now, if it does shuffle south towards the Mexican border, you may find that the pack actually divides. This is, based on computer models, the most likely scenario at this stage. So what we are expecting is the pack will divide somewhere around this area. Maybe possibly sinking south to Monterey, and then when the pack divides, one area will head this direction toward Nevada and the other one will sink south and possibly resume the standard pack forecast once more. This is the most likely. So this area here going south will resume the standard. Now, this is the interesting area here, looking between California and Nevada. When this area comes in, again it's likely some dividing and shuffling will occur. Now, there is a remote possibility that around this area, possibly Lake Tahoe, there will be further divisions. So some areas may even sweep the bottom of Oregon into Idaho. Some may go as far as Utah, which is just over here, but we think the most of it will dissipate around the Nevada border. But by Thursday into Friday, the whole should clear. So that was the forecast area for California into Nevada. Now we move back to the top of the map into the more mountainous regions of Idaho, Montana and Wyoming. Now it is expected that this area will have some more unsettled weather, and therefore it is likely to be a bag of random crunchy items. We expect it's coming down across the border from Alberta, Columbia, British Columbia area into Montana, Idaho and Wyoming. So we expect by late Tuesday into Wednesday there to be lots of unsettled weather with bag of random crinkly items. So here's what we expect to happen. It comes down as the cold weather comes in from the north. We expect it to sink down across the border somewhere between Montana and Idaho. Again, there is the remote possibility that it may come into the Spokane or Spokane, however you like to pronounce it, area. So please be aware that this is a front passing through as well. So again, it will come down from the north. As I say, very, very mixed, crinkly bag of weather coming down. As we don't quite know what's in there, I would be prepared, and again, you may have to cancel any outdoor festivities at last minute notice, but please keep tuned to the weather forecast. So again, what will happen, as I say, it'll come down across Montana, Wyoming, Idaho area, but it will be in a rotational vortex, so it will sort of hang around over this area for several days. See, there's a possibility that it could dissipate as soon as Wednesday, but more likely it's going to be Friday into the weekend. So, all we advise again is just keep an eye on the weather forecast on a daily basis. Being a random bag of crinkly items, I never quite know. As I say, there is even a 5% chance that it may actually head back towards Canada and across the border here into British Columbia, Alberta. There is only a 5% chance of this happening, as we do not have a map any further north, so we have to see that because we only have this map at this stage. So, as I say, it will vortex round for a while, and then again it will gradually dissipate, heading further south towards, let me just move the map up here, towards the Utah border here. So somewhere north of Salt Lake City, we expect the random bag crinkles to dissipate once more and gradually disappear. Now, again, we are looking towards the mountainous areas of Wyoming and Colorado here, and down towards New Mexico and Arizona. As many of you appreciate, there is colder weather currently in Montana, Wyoming, sinking slowly south through Colorado into the desert regions of Arizona and New Mexico. So what we expect to happen is, as a result of the crinkly bag, a random crinkly bag, there will be some offshoots of crinkly plastic. So again, in the area around Salt Lake City, we expect the crinkly plastic to peel away from the random bag and again start heading south. If I just move the map here, you can see it will be coming across like this and heading south across Wyoming into Colorado. Now, for all you viewers in the Denver area, you may not get affected because you will be protected by the mountains. But again, there is a distinct possibility that you may just get touched by the edge of the crinkly plastic. Just like that, but it's more likely it's going to be in this sort of area. So again, the crinkly plastic will hover around Tuesday into Wednesday, and then gradually start sinking south, following the line of the Rocky Mountains. Now, here's where there again there's a little bit of uncertainty, because once it gets to the tail end of the Rocky Mountains, into the Albuquerque, Santa Fe area of New Mexico, we expect one of two things could happen. One is it will continue to go south, like this, pretty straightforward line, crinkling as it goes. Or there is a possibility it may sweep west and take into Arizona and head back towards the coast. So it could go following this line. Across the Navajo Desert area. So again, people in the Phoenix area down here, you may just get touched by the north edge of this front moving across. And what again sometimes happens is, as it's moving down, the crinkly plastic can become compressed. Now, there's a couple of other points we just need to point out at this stage where there's still some uncertainty. And this would be along the very southern edge of the area along the Mexican border. Now, it is expected there could be some tapping coming up from Mexico and just skirting around the border here. So, again, everywhere from the El Paso region here through to San Diego, just be aware there may be some tapping on the border such as this. Now, we're not quite sure at this stage whether it will be fast tapping or slow tapping. But again, there is the possibility of the stray tap may head north. So everybody in this kind of area here, Arizona, from Southern California into New Mexico, please be aware that you may find there may be the odd stray tap heading your direction. But it's nothing to be concerned about at this stage. And last but not least, we shall head back towards the coastal area. We expect coming in, this is just a pre-weather warning here, towards the end of the week, sort of Friday into the weekend, we expect coming up from, again, the south and along the coastal line, there may be some tapping coming in, which again is from this weather front here, but it may result into tapping of a different scale. So instead of hearing the usual tapping like that, you may hear more of a sort of tapping on china, slightly higher resonant pitch coming through. So basically what I would suggest is, if you sort of hear this noise coming from the tapping front, and see any large football shaped objects in the sky, do not panic, for it is just an offshoot of the tapping front coming through. And again, you may find that it quickly passes all the way up the coast, heading towards their lovely neighbours in Canada. So again, the China tapping front will just move up the coast in its own jolly time, just like that. So again, nothing to be concerned about. Sometimes you may find that, again, it vortexes, so it may head inland, and the rhythm may change slightly. But again, we don't really expect this to come until next week, so we'll have more information then. And again, up towards Oregon like that. Again, possibly vortexing. Just have to move them out there, just for the last section. And then we expect it to vortex off up the coast and head towards Alaska. So that concludes today's holiday weather forecast for the western United States. So as I say, the area covers Washington, Oregon, California, Arizona, Nevada, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, Utah. Now, we will be continuing the forecast in about an hour in the central section, so please check the links below or check the forecast, and we will be back as soon as we can, and possibly we may even have the normal graphics and technology back. So thank you for bearing with us, and please do stay tuned to the weather forecast for the future weather